Yeah. Solid Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9-hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep. Go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laps in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. About to raise the bar. Wild card bar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card bar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card bar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what it is. Wildcard Mark back in the building. Hey, I apologize that we did not have a show last night, but that's okay. That's okay. We are back tonight because it's Taco Tuesday. And it's always a terrific Tuesday because our man Randy Redwood's in the house. How you doing, bro? How you doing?
Bad.
Hey, but you know what? I know you're doing bad because your team went out bad, and we talked earlier today through Messenger. And had to get rid of your coach. We'll talk about that in just a second, and we'll preview some in the NBA finals, and we'll kind of talk any and whatever sports kind of pop up that that I think are meaningful to talk about. But I gotta commend you, my brother, because like I told you off air, soon as the clock hit 0 on Game 6, there was people that, hey man, I need to holler at Randy. There were people looking for Randy, and I commend you, bro. You didn't shy, you didn't run, you didn't hide, and here you are, front and center. What happened, bro? Yeah. Look, before you say anything, I feel like y'all gave that series away because I felt like y'all were up in those first 2 games, and y'all let them come back, and y'all didn't close the door on them, and it was just too late. Their style of play is just too fast. It's way too fast, and Thibs only plays a certain amount of people, and it was funny because then he started playing more people. I think it was
way too late.
Way too late. And so what happened, man? What happened, bro?
All right, so we'll break it down game by game. So game 1, the Knicks just choked. There really isn't anything more complex than that. The Knicks were ahead. The Knicks were playing better than the Pacers were, and then just they choked. Yeah. Nesmith had devil magic in his veins and hit 6 threes, and then the luckiest bounce in the world managed to get the Pacers that game where it shouldn't have. There really isn't anything more than that. The Knicks did outplay the Pacers. It's just that small period of time of what was really insane luck got the Pacers over. I think if that didn't happen, the series does look wildly different.
Yeah.
Then
barely.
Game 2, the Pacers did beat us. And one of the things that I said last week was that the main issues with this series for the Knicks were transition defense. We were letting way too many points go in the fast break. We were not controlling the pace. We were letting them control the pace, and turnovers. Too many turnovers.
Yeah.
So those were the biggest issues. I think that in game 2, they really did outplay us, and those were the main reasons why. Game 3, we came back, we beat them. It was weird, right? Because the Knicks and the Pacers did essentially trade out playing each other after game 1. It was almost like game 4, the defense was atrocious for the Knicks. The defense was non-existent. People were shooting open threes with nobody even near them, nobody trying to guard them over and over. We were letting too many points up in the paint. It was ridiculous. Game 5, the defense locks up great. You know, the defense has no problems. The defense covers everybody. They can't get any points in the paint. And it's like, okay, we made an adjustment here. Game 6, it looks just like game 4. Like as if they had learned absolutely nothing. Letting up point after point in the fast break. Ton of turnovers. Brunson let, was it 6 steals from Neesmith. Just too many turnovers and not controlling the pace. I think those were the biggest issues. I don't think that Thibs made adjustments well. I think throwing in players off the bench, it was weird because it was way too late. They actually didn't play badly, though. I think Shamet had the best plus-minus of the entire series. So that, Mitch was also really close. Cat was also really high up there. And we're gonna talk about like the moves people are looking for the Knicks to make and why I would defend not trading Cat. This is one of the reasons why he was probably the best player overall in the series.
Hey, well, hold on. I'm sorry, Randy. Wait, so are you telling me there's people already in Knicks fandom already ready to get rid of Cat?
Oh yeah, and Knicks fandom in and out. Knicks fandom and general NBA fandom.
Okay, before we move on, I gotta address this. All right, you know me. I'm not a big Cat fan, and I've made no bones about it. I think he's, sometimes can have a little sissified mental attitude. He's not mentally strong as I would like him for his size. Balls. Whoa, that sounded crazy. Regardless, that's I thought he had his most phenomenal series of basketball ever in NBA this past series.
Yeah,
just me personally.
I think so too.
And the reason why I say that is because a guy that is 7 foot, he didn't sit at the 3-point line that whole series. He did take some attempts, yes. But what I'm saying is, Cat is primarily I'm gonna go outside in. There was more this series or this past series. He was so aggressive. I loved the aggressiveness of going to the cup. I loved the physicalness that he was playing with. It looked like he tapped into a monster in that series, and unfortunately, it was just things just weren't aligned in the Knicks' way, and so it kind of wasted such a great series for Karl-Anthony Towns. And if you're talking about trading him, why? You literally the combo of him and Mitchell Robinson on the floor is actually probably your best combo.
Yes,
because Mitchell is such a glass cleaner on both sides, whether it's offense or defense. So he takes that problem away for Cat, which Cat is willing to give that away. All right. And that takes care of that problem. All right. But you also got the defense of Mitchell Robinson that is there. He's going to clean up all that stuff that gets past anybody. And he's a rim protector. He's a glass cleaner. You need that. Are you looking for him for points? No. That's why you got the other 7-footer called Karl-Anthony Towns to get the points. That's what he's there for. They all have that role. So therefore, when Karl-Anthony Towns is on, Mitchell Robinson is doing what he's doing, and Jalen Brunson is putting it all together like the maestro that he is. That's when you get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I'll let you finish off. I just think that's crazy.
I think it's crazy too. I feel like Cat is just one of those players that's just naturally polarizing, and I think that is a big reason why people are jumping on him, despite like you said and like I said, having a great series. He was probably the best player on the floor throughout that series. It's not his fault, and yeah, I agree. I've always said that Cat is, because of his offensive versatility, you have to use him both ways depending on what makes sense for the team you're playing. Yes. So he was doing great posting up against the Pacers because Turner and Siakam both are not as big as Cat, and neither of them were really doing a good job defending him in the paint. Another team where maybe perimeter defense is their weakness, you use on the 3-point line. The fact that you can do both is his strength. It's why you accept the defensive deficiencies, because you get the spacing and the shooting and the post-up game from him. And that's also why, like I said, and like I have said basically every episode since I've been on here, you put him with Mitch to make up for those defensive lackings. And that way you also increase size mismatches, because now you have two really big guys.
You're the biggest team.
With two complementary skill sets on the floor together. And Mitch also was great in the series for the most part. Mitch was another one who was very good in the series. Great box plus minus. The offensive rebounding, because you have, again, two of the best rebounders in the NBA together. So many second chance points with him. He invaluable. So yeah, I agree that trading Cat, I think, is crazy. I don't think that that's the move. I think that people just, one, I think Cat is polarizing, and two, I think that when a team doesn't win a chip, especially in the NBA, everyone is very quick to say everything needs to change. We need to blow everything up, and I think it's an overreaction that leads to a lot of teams that are like right there going backwards. Because they don't just build on their core, they overreact and they change everything.
It's a prisoner of the moment type of reaction, knee-jerk reaction, and you can't win. And this is why I say, look, I get it. I'm a fan, you're a fan, and we want our team to do this, do that. But at the end of the day, like, GMs, that's why they don't listen to us. We're fickle. Yeah. We're fickle. All right. Yeah. We is sometimes you have those fan bases that will change just as soon as the seasons do, you know. Winter, fall, spring, and summer, they're gonna change their emotions, how they feel about the team, what the team should do. That at the end of the day, you can't just fall into the narrative. Now, if you're talking about moves that I think that they should make, and I hate to say this, I like Mikal Bridges, but what I thought I was getting offensively for the Knicks, I don't know if it never showed up or it never got there. Defensively, I had no problem with what Mikal Bridges did, because there was a couple games in that Boston series he shut shit down. Actually won some games because
the first two.
Yes, so I'm not shitting on him defensively. I was just the walk-in 20 that I thought I was getting that was coming from Brooklyn. Just I guess it just never really showed up. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Obviously, you watch more Knicks games than I do. Just based off of what I've been seeing in the playoffs, offensively, I've just been missing that dog. That I'm like, yo, what happened to the guy that was in Phoenix that was part of it that had to get moved in the KD trade? Because there ain't no way that trade would have got through if he wasn't part of it. So, like,
Mikal Bridges. I don't want to get rid of anybody, but if you're getting rid of someone, and I hate even to break up the Nova core because of the chemistry that's natural there, but yeah, I do think that it has to be Mikal Bridges. I think that Mikal Bridges has been too inconsistent. He's sometimes he shot us out of some games in that Pacers series, like just taking really dumb threes, like threes where he was being obviously covered, where the shot clock wasn't even close to being at the end yet. Not passing to get the right shot. He's very inconsistent, and I think that's the big problem. And I think that if you look at everybody on the roster and think, like, what can we get for this player? First of all, you're not trading Jalen Brunson, obviously. Cat, I strongly disagree with the idea of trading. OG and Bridges kind of have very similar strengths and weaknesses, but I think that OG is a little better, both defensively and as a shooter. So I think that if you're getting rid of someone, Bridges is kind of redundant if you have OG comparatively.
That's why I rock with you, Randy, because I didn't know if I was setting that up for you, because I was really looking at it and I'm like, what can I not get from OG from Mikal? Like, I'm almost looking at it. I'm like, if I'm a general manager, OG, physically is the bigger guy, and if you want to be the bigger team, that fits your theme with Cat, with Mitchell on the floor, that fits your theme. Like with OG at the 3, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Like,
And you're not going to get much for Josh Hart or Mitch, and I don't think you should give up Josh Hart or Mitch. I know that there have been some talks about them, but the problem is with them is that they are considered around the league at bench player level, and if we're going to make a trade, what you have to do, the point of it would be to kind of reverse the effect of all of the trades we've made in the past 2 years, where we went from one of the deepest teams to one of the shallowest ones by making a lot of multi-players or picks trades for one guy. We should be trading to try to reverse that trend and kind of find more of a balance. I mean, remember 2 years ago when we had Josh Hart coming off the bench, we had Emmanuel Quickly coming off the bench, 6th man of the year quality player. Like we had, Mitch was our main center at that point. Like we had
Hartenstein. I had Hartenstein in the lineup.
Yeah, exactly. We had Mitch and Hartenstein together. Like that's a great duo of center play right there.
You probably don't even make that trade for Cat if you still got Hartenstein. Just to be honest, I don't think you do.
Potentially. I mean, Cat offers things that Hartenstein doesn't, but I get what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, you instead of trying to get the offensive big guy, I think you probably still get Jalen Brunson, but maybe you do go after KD. Maybe you do go after a 3 or a 2 that can help Brunson.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get anyone that's above 37, but I get the point that you're making.
Right? I'm just kind of just throwing out
like they may have done that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we had a very deep team, and now we have one of the shallowest teams. So we have to find that sweet spot. And I think that if you're going to do that, you have to trade a starter, because the only way you're going to get more than one good player is by trading a starter, and the one you would trade is Bridges.
Yeah, and that was my thought process as well.
And I think that you could also, if you call some of the teams that are in like that rebuilding stage, those like bottom feeder teams, where the ones that are similar to what the Nets were like with Bridges, then you can sell it just like Bridges has shown that he can be the best guy on a team. He showed in the Nets that he can be a walking bucket. He's 3-and-D. If you're a rebuilding team, he's someone you can build around. Give us 2 good 3-and-D players for him that we can use to expand our bench. I think that might be the way to go. You could talk to the Pelicans. You could talk to the Wizards. You could try the Nets or the Raptors again and try to get some of the ones we lost back. Whatever, right? But like those, I think that's kind of the idea.
Yeah,
that's probably the ones that are the most likely to give up a lot for him because they're desperate.
And then it's up to the general. The idea and the premise that I definitely agree with you is up to the GM to actually fit the names and the bodies to that premise. So it's up to them now. But Thibs is out. You can't be surprised.
Nope.
Okay. I just wanted to double check, because like if there's surprise from anyone in that camp of Knicks fandom, I'm kind of like, you kind of have to see it coming, because it's like chilling. Like, hello.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at. Is I understand the move, and I think I lean more towards supporting it. I've always, like I was just talking about with overreactions, right? We just made the Eastern Conference Finals, and now we're firing our head coach, right? Like, and a lot of people are responding like that, like very similar to what the Bucks and the Nuggets did with their head coaches. Like, you just saw the most success you have in forever with this coach. Why are you firing him? And I disagreed with it in those 2 cases, but I understand it in ours. Because of that depth issue, it's maybe hard to make a determination whether was our bench bad because they weren't getting any minutes and Thibs wasn't developing them, or was Thibs not putting them on the floor because our bench is bad, right? Like, is it a mix of both? I think that you had to do this. I think that our offense was becoming too predictable. Our players literally got injured last year in big part because they were being overworked and on the floor too much, and that cost us what would have been an Eastern Conference Finals appearance last year.
Oh yeah.
Like undoubtedly, because the Pacers we still took them to a game 7 with Brunson playing through an injury, Hart, and our bench, and Dante. So I think that he had to go, and I think if you were going to fire him, this is the time to do it because Budenholzer and Malone are available, and they both have won a championship in the past 5 years. So I don't know if you're going to find an opportunity like this again to be looking for a head coach. Those are two really good options that just kind of fell into your lap in what's wild luck because two teams overreacted.
Say those names again.
Budenholzer and Malone.
Championship winning coaches just sitting right there for the pickings, and one of them are going to get a gig in New York. I think without a doubt. Which one would you prefer, or is there a name out there that you absolutely think is the best fit for this roster as it is currently constructed?
Okay, so Budenholzer would be a little better for developing defense. Malone would be better for developing an offense. I think that Malone is used to dealing with an offense first, not great defending center. And because that is, that's Jokic's mold, essentially, with the playmaking that Cat isn't as good at as Jokic, obviously, but still similar concept. An offense first, 3-point shooting center. I think that because of that, Malone can get use out of that and do something really good with it. He did win a championship more recently, but in both cases, you could argue like, well, Budenholzer had Giannis and Malone had Jokic. Can they replicate that with the Knicks? But my response to that would be, I mean, look at Brunson is also a top 10 player in the NBA now, like at least undoubtedly, and is a core of Cat, Hart, Bridges, OG, Mitch, and Miles McBride significantly worse than one of Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, old man Russ? Like, no, right? Like that's at least as good a core around Brunson as Jokic had around him.
Now, Randy, I can make a case for Budenholzer that would be a very comparable roster that he won a championship with.
Okay, let's. I think I know where you're going with this, and I think I agree. But let me hear your.
Well, what I'm saying is, I mean, obviously, Bobby Porter is a good energy guy off the bench. He had the Lopez twins, so he had the size. Drew Holiday, who is a true point guard, it's definitely on the offensive side when it comes to facilitating. Who can? I mean, he should. I mean, he had that 150-point game, but he's also known to only throw up a 7 or snoozer. So, I mean, offensively, I'm not asking him to be my scorer, but facilitator, he does that well, and he's definitely a good defender on the perimeter when he's going against your opposing guard. At least back in that time when he won the championship. Obviously, he's a little bit older now, but still good, savvy vet. So, and obviously, I don't know how people really feel about Chris Middleton. When he helped win that championship, he was solid in that thing, but still,
he was very good in that finals.
Yeah, but he had to get to the finals to do that. And other than that, it was some inconsistent spots in there. But I've never been a big Chris Middleton fan. I don't know how other people feel about him. I'm just kind of like, he's a guy. I'm just saying, like, don't shade because he's made it there. I would have never made it to the level. So I would never knock is what he's done in his career. I'm just saying on that level, comparing him to his peers, I'm just like, he's another guy.
Yeah. So, right. Yeah. Like Giannis had to be he wouldn't have gotten there as the lead guy, right? Like he had to be there as a role player who made up for the shooting that Giannis didn't have.
If I remember correctly, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, I think Giannis averaged damn near 30 plus in that playoff, so he was doing something special. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost kind of like, you know, Giannis is going to do what he does, and it was up to Middleton and Drew Holiday to just make sure that they chipped in.
Yeah, and I there were games in that final series that Middleton did take over, to be fair to him. Like he did absolutely make up for Giannis's shooting issues, and there were some where I'm pretty sure he got the winning shot in one of those games.
Yeah.
So Middleton did his part for sure. But if we're talking about like the cores around Giannis and the core around Jokic and the core around Brunson right now, like, you know, I think that we could argue that these cores are relatively comparable to one another. Like, I don't think you're making a significant personnel drop off with either of them going to the Knicks. If anything, I think you could argue that there is an overall personnel upgrade, at least in the case of the Nuggets, right? Like, even if you're like saying like Jokic is better than Brunson, I don't think the gap is huge. And even if you do, the team around Brunson is better than the team was around Jokic. You know, Murray can become a superstar in certain playoff series, but Cat's obviously better than Murray is. So, and I think that you can say, like, look, you're giving these guys a good core to work with for sure, and they'll know what to do with it, either of them.
Yeah, I just think it just which one will ownership prefer, and I mean, but I think you made a great case for either one, and honestly, is when you got the hardware to prove that you can make it in this recent league, that speaks volumes. So,
yeah. I've also heard some other names get thrown around, and I kind of just want to address those. Jay Wright from Villanova is someone that people are talking about.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, right? He knows the personnel already. He helped develop them. I mean, it's a college coach coming to the NBA. You never know how that's going to work. But it's an interesting idea. I wouldn't choose him over either of those two, but if for whatever reason you can't get them, I hate that less than other options I've seen thrown around. I think the second highest odds right now is Johnny Bryant. I don't understand that at all. He doesn't have any head coaching experience. He's only been an assistant head coach. I get that he was for the Knicks, and so he knows the Knicks system, but
he knows the personnel.
He does know the personnel, but
have a leg up on anybody else that would interview for that job right now.
Yeah, but no head coaching experience. Certainly not nearly the success of Budenholzer or Malone as options. So I don't think knowing the personnel is a good enough reason to pass up on them. Mark Jackson was one that I've seen thrown around. He has no coaching experience at all. He was just a player that was on the Knicks.
Wait, Mark Jackson? He was down with Golden State. That Mark Jackson?
Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong.
No, Mark Jackson. Like, oh yeah, he was pretty much the building blocks of Golden State, and he got stuck in that Gruden situation with Steve Kerr.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. I think I confused him with the. Okay, never mind. Okay, so in that case, that actually isn't the bad option. If it's that Mark Jackson.
Yeah, but he's been away from the game for as a head coach for a minute, so I don't know if I wouldn't hate it, because I always thought that I don't know, his situation was his exit out of Golden State was kind of weird, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, he was if I'm remembering correctly, he was the one that Steve Kerr followed. He was the one that brought in what was going to be the Splash Brothers. Yeah. Okay. Well, and that's perfect vision right there. That is a good resume to show. Like, look, I was the one that had the vision for the Splash Brothers.
And I saw it before anybody else saw it. So yeah.
Just so anyone, because I forgot who he was, just like, oh, he doesn't know who Mark Jackson is. Yes, I do. That's a very, very common name.
My guy Randy just got a little contact from through the camera. Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get scatterbrains all the time. Don't worry.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay. So I think there's something to that. But yeah, you're right. He has also been away from it for a while.
Yeah, well, he's been around the game, obviously being an announcer and does media, but I wouldn't hate it because I was always a big fan of Mark. But yeah, being away from the game, and then when you got two coaches that's been recently let go, and if one recently is kind of like it's kind of a tough one to pass up. So I definitely understand your concerns right there. So unfortunately, the team that did beat y'all and did get to the finals, it's time to preview. He couldn't wait to come get you.
Bobby, you've been in Cancun for weeks. Okay, don't compare a first round exit to an Eastern Conference Finals exit.
Hey, whenever my Lakers left, I ain't talking much noise, so I'm not talking much. So I mean, we was out, I think, first round too. So it's kind of what it is, man. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm just trying to be an analyst.
Yeah, like man's talking from the couch after we packed his ass up.
I'm just trying to be an analyst. Oh man, I love the trash talk. But Pacers, Thunder. Your initial thoughts when you see this matchup?
Incoming final sweep.
Damn.
I'm just being real. I'm just being real. I don't think these teams are. Look, Bobby. I'll get to you in a second. All right, I'm doing sports commentary. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it has to be the sweep. It could be 5, but I don't think it's going past 5. I think 5 is generous. It's just, if you look at the Thunder's roster, you don't believe that. I don't believe you believe that, Bobby. The Thunder have the best net rating of any team in NBA history. They have the second highest point differential of any team in NBA history. They had the highest win-loss record this year of any team. They have about 7 players on their team that could all be all defensive players, and nobody would bat an eye. SGA, Chet, Lou Dort, J-Dubs, Hartenstein, Caruso. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but they have the MVP and the scoring leader. It's just not. The Pacers were the 4 seed for a reason, and I get that they got here, right? But they got here through a lot of. The only team they really outplayed was us. They beat the Bucks because they had Dame hurt. They beat the Cavs because Garland and Mobley and Hunter all missed significant time, and Garland came back still playing through an injury. And then they beat us, and they outplayed us. I'm not going to, aside from game 1, which was devil magic, but realistically, if you look at both rosters, the Thunder have dominated better teams already. They beat the Nuggets, who I think are better than the Pacers. They got to a game 7, but of the games they won, they destroyed them. They pretty much manhandled the Timberwolves. I just don't see the Pacers being able to do any more than they did. It's one of the greatest teams of all time. They have the best player and the best roster.
You know what's crazy about the Thunder?
What?
They can have a better version of this team for the next coming years.
Yeah. Yeah, they got the picks, they got the youth. Nobody's crazy expensive. It's an insane situation to be in. They could just build from here.
Nasty. It's nasty, bro. Really, I want really everybody to put your thought process and wrap your brain around that. This version of what you're seeing that's about to compete for a Larry O'Brien trophy. Oh, it can get better. What do you mean it can get better?
Yeah, they could. This is the building blocks of a dynasty. Everyone on the team is young on top of it, right? Like they can be really good to great for years.
And if you don't, and if one of them asks for too much money, no worry, we got the draft picks. We'll trade you,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get the compensation back for you.
There are people who are talking about them getting Giannis because they have the picks to offer. Like that's how good of a position they're in. They could do that without giving away that much.
I don't hate it, but and me and Bobby had that conversation. Obviously, they got to make the money work because obviously the price tag that comes with Giannis.
Right.
It's
but that's the thing. They have a young, cheap core. They're in a position where they could afford to pay one player a lot because they're not paying anybody else an insane amount, even SGA.
I just think I don't know, Bobby, how you see forward to Pacers. And I'll be honest, Halliburton has made me a nice little fan of him. I've been loving this game. I can't lie. And I had no idea that he went to Iowa State. Obviously, I'm from the Midwest. I partied in Iowa State a couple of times, and I had no idea he went there. And so that was nice to know and find out. But I just don't see how. All right, can we common sense think about this? Let's try not to make this complicated at all. All right. When we see a team like the Denver Nuggets, like Jokic, literally just get smothered.
Thank you.
Smothered. Jokic was tapping out, bro. Like UFC, bro. Jokic is tapping out. And he tapping out, bro. I mean, when you talking about, cats is getting smothered. I didn't see cats getting more smothered than, some neck bones. I ain't even seen neck bones get smothered like this.
Yeah,
crazy, bro.
Yeah, no. Sorry for the interruption. If anyone heard me, my girl just brought dinner in here.
No, you good.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's the thing, right? Okay. Do you see a way that the Pacers could win this? Because realistically, I just don't. I don't see, like I said to you earlier, the fast break points that they got against the Knicks. I don't see that happening. I don't see the OKC letting that happen. If you watch them play, they play like a machine. It's really
unfair.
Yeah, exactly. It's really weird the way that their play style just feels so fluid and so perfect most of the time that their defense is great, their offense is great. I don't see the Pacers being able to get away with a lot of the shit that they got away with us, right? Like that, just controlling the pace. I don't think OKC's letting them control the pace.
So when I say let's really comment, like dial it back and common sense think about this shit. So Ant-Man, Jokic, superstars, MVP, former MVPs, MVP caliber players are getting shut down. And no disrespect to Halliburton, I don't know if I can consider him on those same level of those dudes.
Mm-mm.
And they are getting smothered out like pork chops and neck bones, smothered down.
Mm-hmm.
What if that team defense, because it's a team defense and it's like literally a pack of hyenas, and they're doing that to them, what do you expect they're gonna do to you? And we could look at rosters and you can compare, Miles Turner to whoever on Denver or Minnesota all you want. All I'm saying is when I'm looking at the teams that they are doing this to, and I'm looking at Indiana, and yes, you are playing great team basketball right now, but I don't know if you're ready for what this buzzsaw is. That is the Thunder. Like this is crazy. And so your MVP, who, like you said, is a scoring leader, but don't sleep on my man's defense. He's locking cats down too.
Yeah, that's the thing with SGA. He is the only player in the entire NBA to be top 10 both in offensive and defensive rating. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? What are you supposed to do with when he's not even the best defender on his team, despite that? Like, what do you do? Like, I don't see any way. And I don't know, maybe we could find someone who maybe Bobby can come on and be a Pacers defender.
No, Bobby's coming on. Yeah, I already sent him the link. He said tap me in, and I'm waiting for him to come on because if he's saying 4-2, he's got to break this down because
Right.
at this point in time, I'm always open to hear other opinions and why you can get to whatever take you can get to. Me personally, the way that Oklahoma City is playing team ball, I can't see it because there's their superstar that is on your team. He's getting his points. He's 30 up.
Mm-hmm.
He's locking you down. I can't wait to see that matchup between him and Halliburton and how the whistle goes.
It's not going in Halliburton's favor, I'll tell you that. The Pacers got away with a lot of bullshit in our series with the whistle, not against SGA though. That's like the refs are not favoring them in that series.
Well, and I know they're gonna say, "Oh, free throw merchant," but hey, SGA he's attacking the rim, and just like a Harden did, and like when they labeled him a free throw merchant, and he's putting the referees in a position to blow the whistle or don't. That's just point blank, period.
Mm-hmm.
And if they blow it, that's their job. They don't. That's up for y'all to debate.
Well, what I guess should, in theory, get someone labeled as a free throw merchant or as a flopper is one of two things. Either if a significant amount of the fouls that you get are illegitimate because you flopped, or because your points would look drastically different if you subtracted free throws. Now, the second one I don't think is true for SGA. Like, if you look at the percentage of his points that are coming from free throws overall throughout the entire season, he's getting a lot of these points legitimately, right? Like, the free throws are adding on to it. But would he still be the scoring leader if he had like an average amount of free throws? I think probably, yes. Are a lot of his flops and free throws illegitimate because he's flopping? Yes. Like, absolutely.
Hey, look, when I watch SGA play, there's going to be sometimes the whistle, and I think it can be like questionable. All right, I'm not going to debate that. There are some questions that I think he gets, but at the same time, your MVPs, they get those whistles, and at the same time, when you're aggressive, and his game is predicated on getting to the cup, and at the same time, he's literally an old school baller, and he is a damn mid-range assassin.
Yes.
He eats it. I mean, killing them from the mid-range. And his, oh my God, the way he creates his space to get to the mid-range is absolutely crazy. And you understand why he's MVP when you see how he creates his mid-range ability to get open in that space. It's crazy.
Right, and he generates, that's a big thing. Like, if you're especially a guard who's generating a lot of contact, yeah, you're more likely to get the whistle because you're generating the contact, right? Now, you could choose to lean your shoulder in, say, for certain spins to initiate it, or you could be an ethical hooper who tries to just get the cleanest shot. But that's his style.
Hey, there's a image of a sports guy right behind you. His name is Kobe Bryant. That did a lot of the similar things. Create his space in the mid-range. Yes. That's what I'm saying. We can't act like this is something that I'm just saying it's something that is a work of art that we've seen before, but it is morphed into a different version. And I'm not trying to make those comparisons, but at the same time, you see certain things and you're like, oh, that's kind of nasty right there. I seen that. But he freaked it and put his SGA season on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's, all right, Bobby, come on in here, man, because you talking 4-2, bro, and you gotta explain this shit, bro. You gotta explain.
First of all, howdy, gentlemen.
What's
and,
up?
It's always all love, Randy. You know both our teams, and but I will.
That's actually really funny because the reason why I said like we packed you up, I confused you with a different Bobby who was a Pistons fan.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Yes.
That's fair.
Okay.
But yeah, and with the Pacers, we're seeing something this basketball season that we've honestly never seen before. You know, I come at things with all kinds of different lenses. What I'm seeing is in football, we've seen several times the hot quarterback gets a ring. Joe Flacco, the Ravens got hot, Ravens got a ring. Eli Manning, a couple times with the Giants got hot at the right time, they got a ring. This is the first time we're seeing it in the NBA. In the NBA, MLB, NHL, we all say the same thing. There's no such thing as a mistake in a 7-game series. The best team usually wins. Twice the Indiana Pacers have beaten the more talented team because they are honestly the better team. And they're the better team than Oklahoma City Thunder right now. They're not the most talented team. They are a better cohesive unit team. With that being said, they're all playing their best basketball of the season. They're the hot quarterback. Their whole team is the hot quarterback. That's going to be difficult for OKC to beat because who do you defend? Who do you guard? Who do you try to stop? I'm like, glad you gave SGA his flowers on defense because that's true. He is he's the first player in history to be top 10 in offensive and defensive efficiency individually. But why is that? He's a 6'7" point guard. Who's he guarding most nights?
Little 6'4" guards.
He's not guarding the team's best player. Normally, that's J-Dub or that's, Dort. This is the first. He's got a point guard basically his size now. Not girth-wise. He got a little weight on Halliburton, but, height-wise and shiftability, that's going to be a tough matchup for him. So
maybe you make that switch off. If you're OKC, maybe you already thought of that, and you're like, nice, GA. I really need that 40 from you. Let Will get that.
But that's the thing with OKC is like I mentioned before, they have I guess I'll say 6 because I can't think of the 7th. Different players who are all defensive caliber players on the team. You could put SGA, J-Dub, Dort, Hartenstein, Chet, or Caruso on somebody, and you're getting good defense against basically whoever you put them up against as long as the matchup is right. So you can make those matchups.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if I'm worried about SGA being the same size as the guard because you have somebody else, you have 5 other people at least you could put on Tyrese. So make your case that OKC is going to have issues doing that.
They're going to have issues because they like every other team this postseason is not going to be able to sustain the pace that the Indiana Pacers are going to play at for potentially 7 games. And I told you this coming into the next series. I told you this. And I didn't say it wasn't. I told it because I watched it. I watched what they did to us regardless. And appreciate you giving us our credit because I also believe if this was 2K and we could turn injuries off, I think we'd beat the Pacers in the 7-game series. But it is what it is. They caught us. They got us. But in watching them play and really, really focusing in on them for the first time healthy this season, they're they have one mode. I was telling Mark last Friday. Their cure to your defense is play faster. You want to double team Halliburton? Cool, get a ball to Nesmith. Play faster. They have scored more points off of made baskets. And I'm sure you saw how many times did you see them inbound the ball, 2 passes, layup off of a made basket.
Too many times.
Exactly. There's Cat's making the layup and they're getting the basket back before Cat reaches half court defensively. That's insane. And what's the saying? You know, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. I didn't say that, but everybody thinks they can play at this tempo until you see what that tempo is. And I don't think OKC's going to be able to deal with it as easy as a lot of people think they are. Just feel like that. On top of the fact, every single person on Thomas Bryant is killing people from the corner. Like, why? When did Thomas Bryant become Klay Thompson from the corner? Like,
okay. How much do you think? How much of that dynamic of the fast break points and the transition off it? How much do you think was the Indiana Pacers doing that well, as opposed to teams not being able to defend it as well? Like, how much do you think that it's mostly them, or do you think that the defense against them so far just hasn't been good enough? Because I think that's a big difference, because OKC is the best defensive team they're going to be going against this playoff series.
Absolutely. And that's a fantastic question. And I will kind of answer it with a question. Like, we've heard this for years in hearing you speak. Your knowledge, I trust your knowledge of the game. Why do people say full court presses don't work in NBA? The ball handling's too good, right? This is Indiana, they forced the Knicks in the 8-court violations. They forced us in the 8-court violations. They're playing at a style that people say, oh, this won't work in the NBA. Kind of the way people thought the option wouldn't work in the NFL. That's a college offense. They're playing college ball in the NBA, and because teams don't practice it,
they don't know how to defend it.
Exactly. They don't know what to do. You get out there and you see it. It's all of a sudden the Cleveland Cavaliers can't bring the ball up. We got 2 all-star guards that can't figure out how to get the ball past half court. So, same with the Knicks. We got all these all-stars and they can't figure out, how do we break a press? What do we do? Like, they look confused inbounding the basketball. So,
and then that's when they start forcing you in the mistakes.
Exactly. And it's like, so if anything, I hope as the OKC Thunder have kind of gone back and looked at that, like, you got to almost go completely 100% back to your fundamentals.
See, this right here is Bobby happens to does he does this to me like every other Friday. All right, he'll
with the next words, man.
No, hold on. I didn't already had a pause moment. I am not looking to have any more for the rest of the night. All right.
One pause moment per podcast.
Yeah. One per podcast per hour, and we haven't hit the 60-minute mark yet. So,
you're giving yourself extra ones.
No, I'm buffers. Buffers, bro.
Right. Okay.
Every other Friday, Bobby always drops something on me. I'm like, damn, man, I didn't see it from that angle. So that was another one, and it just happened to be on a Tuesday on this platform, not on the Audible podcast every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's just, I don't hate your angle.
I could tell I would close it with this. In boxing and in basketball, people get in the habits. When you see that good boxing match, and you got the puncher against just the pure fighter.
Yeah.
When the puncher starts punching, what does the pure fighter tend to do? He starts punching back until he gets his corner, and they're like, dude, that's not your game. Slow down. Do what got us here. Same thing in basketball. Like, we've all played basketball. What's the funnest game? What do we do? When that ball, we back and forth, we go back and forth with it. You can't help but to get sucked into that game. Pause.
Whoa.
The Knicks had their most success when they were able to slow the game down. But then what happens? One push up the court, and it's all right. We got you. Let's do this. That's the thing. I don't think. Nobody's been able to not do it for a sustained amount of time. I'll put it like that. They've been able to do it in spurts. Hey, let's stop running.
Okay.
But they always get suckered back into the running game.
See, whoa. See, you got to relax. See, that's the problem right there. Is because you're doing psychological warfare now.
But that's the game.
That's what you're doing.
Is there a little bit of post your series PTSD going into this?
No.
Like, I just saw what they did to my team. Therefore, they're unstoppable.
They're unstoppable.
But
No.
Randy, to be fair, this is like the trend that they have done the whole playoff. So like when
Yeah.
you see it, it's kind of like there's no way that they like you go away from that now that you're in the finals. No, you stick to your guns. And if they stick to their guns, and then I'm looking at OKC, if you literally just stick to your guns, we should get a 7-game series. But that's what I think, to your point, Bobby, that's where you're at, is kind of like Pacers are making these cats not physically, but mentally get out of their game. And you're like, oh, damn it, they did it to us. We were supposed to do it. But I took the cheese. And I got.
And to Randy's point, OKC, again, they're the best team in the NBA pretty much all year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, all year. Yeah.
All year, yeah.
All year, it was us and them back and
from
forth. But,
net rating and point differential and all of that. Regular win-loss, all, they've been the best team.
My win-loss.
Yeah.
This calendar year, they even had the best record. You know who has the second?
Indiana
Pacers.
Well, I guess that makes sense because they're here, like
if you want to cut it off the regular season, they had the second best record in the NBA from January 1st to the start of the playoffs.
So, okay, you're making I get what you're saying. You're in 2025.
Exactly. Once they got healthy and the calendar year flipped to January 1st, 2025, they've been the second best team in the NBA, best team in the Eastern Conference. So, only mistake they made in the playoffs is Tyrese Halliburton stepping up when he thought he was the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals.
That was funny. He was like, in the Eastern Conference Final winners, Pascal's out.
Yeah, no, I got a little bit of joy back after that. Like, I'm just glad at least that happened to him.
Yeah, you ain't get that award, man. Gonna sit on down.
So I mean, no. So, Bobby, let me ask you this then: how much better do you think the Pacers are this season as opposed to what they were last season? And I'm asking you this for a reason.
Okay. I think I would say that if to put a percentage on it, they are probably about 60% better than they were last year. Okay, and I'm asking that. They're definitely healthier. Definitely healthier.
Yes, they're healthier. Their core roster is more or less the same still that it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because what happened when they went against the best team in the NBA last year in the playoffs?
Yeah, but Boston plays that way as well. That 5-out, Boston, they have the ability to play half court. They really want to push the ball and shoot 60, 73s. They want to play they don't want to play 7 seconds or less. They want to play like 9.5 seconds or less, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah, and Boston again, they're just too talented. Too talented. Like,
do you think that the Celtics are better than the Thunder is now?
I think the Boston Celtics are the best team in the NBA. If this is 2K and we can turn health or injuries off, just man for man, like the Celtics have the best roster in the NBA. I would say OKC has the second.
Okay. I mean, again, with the Knicks series, Tatum was only out one of their losses. They had the same amount of wins with and without him. So I don't think the injuries were the reason for that loss. But if you're talking about last year's Celtics versus this year's Thunder, I think you could make a case that last year's Celtics were better, right? Like it's tough because like on paper they're better. The advanced metrics suggest Thunder, but you can make a case either way, I think. But I just don't see. I just don't. The only way they could do it is basically through controlling the pace, and I just like you're saying. So I just don't see a team as defensively layered as OKC allowing that to happen. But I get your point. Like if they manage to get that going, that would be their way of winning for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, just think about it. A week and a half ago, I told you the exact same thing, and you told me the exact same thing. I don't know how they're going to do it. Well, they have a way to. They are the best team in the NBA at playing their way and forcing you to play their way.
Okay. The Knicks do not have the defense of OKC as much as I would love for us to have it. And I do think that that's a big part of it. I mean, there were so many times where we would take Mitch out of the game and the defense would fall off of a cliff, right? Like we just don't have that same level of layering. And I think that was a big reason why. I mean, if you look at game five, the defense managed to get an order and we locked them up. We stopped them from doing that completely. We couldn't sustain it into game 6. And you could say like, maybe, well, that's because it's not sustainable to stop them from doing that. But if we were able to do that for game 5 and game 3, OKC is better at that than we are. And we were able to do that against them for 2 games. So I think that, I don't know. I'm still looking at OKC in 5, but it will be
OKC is favorite. I'm not denying that. They should win. I'm 100% with they should. I just don't, but I think they're gonna fall into the suckers game.
Okay.
And something's going to happen. Like, they're gonna lose game 1. And let's see the response in game 2.
Okay.
I already got my betting slip in.
Wait.
I was at the casino yesterday. So we'll see if I can make me a couple hundred bucks.
Okay. So you trying to tell me that Indiana Pacers are pretty much going to take game 1 and force OKC to figure out how to stop this shit, huh?
Well, I mean, let's look at what history tells us. How many game 1s have OKC lost its play postseason?
They lost against the Nuggets, game 1. Mm-hmm. They won against the Timberwolves. Who's the first round that they played against?
Who did they play?
They swept them. It was
but they've lost a game 1. They've shown that ability. How many game 1s have the Pacers lost this postseason?
0.
So if history tells us anything,
okay,
this is current history. This ain't like this right now.
Okay. If you look at their hardest series, it was against the Nuggets because they went to a game 7 with them, and all of the Nuggets wins against them were close. All of OKC's wins were not. I don't know what that says. I don't know if that just means that the OKC were the better team, but they kept getting caught off guard.
And
that would be the similar to what you're saying about the Pacers strategy.
Right. The two differences is, for the Nuggets, I'll give you, they have the best player in the NBA. It's Jokic. But look at how these games finish as they're close. What do the Nuggets do at the end of that game? Slow it down. No, we slow it down.
You got to.
That's not going to happen. This ain't going to be a slowdown at the end. This is going to be, we're trying to score 20 points in 2 minutes because we can. And so
they put 47 in the first quarter.
Right, but it goes, and that's what I mean about the mental. When you get into certain situations, you draw on your experience. Hey, we've been here before. We know what to do. But when they go get a bucket, it's like, wait a minute, they were supposed to dribble out the clock, not get a layup. What do we do? Like, now you're in uncharted territory. So that's what scares me for OKC. They're going to be put in some situations where traditional basketball isn't it's because Indiana's not going to do what you're supposed to do. Like, you're not supposed to push the ball with 35 seconds left. You're supposed to hold it and get the best quality shot. No, we're playing like it's tip-off all game. And that could be difficult to deal with if you're not ready for it.
Yeah. I know from experience.
And I've come to that conclusion from the experience of watching my team and your team basically make the same mistakes. Like, so,
man, Rick Carlisle. We forget Rick Carlisle is a champion coach too. I know we didn't, but I'm just saying there's people that might have forgot that. Rick Carlisle's won a championship, y'all. He knows what he's doing. He did. What was that team that he took down to win that championship? People forget.
I don't know who they played.
You forgot. You have forgot the team.
I don't acknowledge it now.
Okay, Bobby. Okay, you forgot. Okay, no worries. No worries. I understand.
And hey, greatest teams in NBA history, they don't have such a good track record in the finals as of late.
Not against Rick Carlisle.
Not against anybody.
No, because I really want you to announce the team that Rick Carlisle took down, but you won't do it. You won't do it.
Oh, the Heat. I said the Heat.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah, I don't have that big a gripe with the Heat.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the thing that's why it's been hard for the NBA to establish like a dynasty, a team that can repeat wins. And we were just talking before about how OKC has the potential to become that team if they do win this finals. Between the youth, the amount of money they're paying per player, the picks that they have, the core, I think that if there's any team right now that has the potential to be that, OKC can be for a long period of time. What do you think that there's a chance that they become the next NBA dynasty to actually sustain? And so it's not just teams trading championships every year.
That's tough because with this CBA, the NBA kind of screwed themselves. I think the NBA is in a great place right now with the way everything is. We got good parity, but because they set the CBA up the way it is to kind of dismiss or keep super teams from forming, now you screwed yourselves to where teams are really getting 2 to 3 year windows. So I don't know what that looks like for OKC coming up in the next 2 to 3 seasons, because you're gonna have Jalen's extension coming up, you're gonna have Chet's extension coming up, and the higher that money goes, and once these guys hit these ceilings, it limits the moves you can make. Like we're experiencing right now. Literally, Evan Mobley, I'm happy he won Defensive Player of the Year. Worst thing that could have happened to our team, because that triggered a $45 million salary bump for him, which now screws our long-term cap. Now it's difficult for us to make trades, which we see what happened to our roster. We need to make a couple of moves to improve, to get ready for next, and now we can't. So I don't know what that looks like for OKC coming up, because their ownership has already shown me they're willing
to move off town.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember, they literally watched Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden go to the NBA Finals, and they broke that team up. Like, yes, they remain competitive after. It wasn't like they completely broke, but I don't doubt that they do it again. You know what I mean? So it's like I really don't know what that looks like for OKC. Yeah, they can supplement their bench with draft picks, so they don't necessarily have to go out and get your vet minimum guys. They can do that with lottery guys. So it's long term. Yeah, it is. Yeah, they could be a 10-year dynasty. They could blow this thing up in 4 to 5 seasons. You know what I mean? It could go either way. So,
do you think that SGA could be, if they do successfully do that? Do you think that, because the NBA has been looking for their face of the NBA? Do you think SGA could do that? And do you think that would be good for the NBA if he was the guy?
Nope.
I agree, but I want to hear what your reasoning is.
No, not that it wouldn't be good for the NBA.
He's Canadian,
but he can't.
that is
no. I mean,
that matters.
It shouldn't be a problem, but it is.
But it matters. Yeah.
I am being dead
It's an American sport, so
it
matters.
That's serious. He's Canadian. All right.
But for me, it's just like I rate superstars. To me, SGA is not a superstar. I rate superstars differently. It can be by your production and on the court skill and ability, but the biggest part in you being a superstar is in your ability to sell tickets. SGA is way better at basketball than Kyrie Irving. I would buy 10 tickets to see Kyrie Irving play before I bought 10 tickets to see SGA play. Yeah, you know what I mean. So from a face of the franchise or face of the league, it's this is a 2-horse race really right now. Actually, I'll say 3 if he can become. No, I'll make it 4. I will make it 4. Okay. There is one foreign guy who can do this, and that's Wemby, because Wemby's a freak of nature.
Yes. People will pay to see him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The other three is Anthony Edwards, is Ja Morant, is Cooper Flag, if Cooper Flag can become what we think he can. You got to have your great white hype. You have to have your great white hype.
Yeah, but that's the problem, though. I mean, like we've talked about kind of like the way the WNBA, for instance, got all around Caitlin Clark. You know, for it obviously, no, she's good enough to deserve it, but that played a role undoubtedly.
Absolutely.
The NBA audience is now, I mean, the majority of NBA players are black. The percentage of the NBA audience is more black than any other sport, really, by far. So, I mean, if they could do that, I think that the best move really would be to market to their core audience, which is us, right? Like, I don't think they have to try to appeal to. I mean, like, if you look at like Indiana is a perfect example. Look at their audience; it's almost all white people, right? Like, but it's a small market. If now look at Lakers games, Knicks games, like very diverse audiences, then those are the bigger markets. I really like Ant-Man as the face of the NBA, and there are a lot of reasons why he works. He needs to win a ring for it to go through. I don't think you can do it without him winning a ring. I think whoever is going to be has to win a ring. I agree that SGA can't be, because he's not that fun to watch. He foul baits, and no one wants to support a foul baiter. He's Canadian. It shouldn't matter, but it does.
It does, yeah.
And I mean, he's a little zesty, and I think that also, regardless.
Wait, hold on. Time the fuck out. Time the fuck out. Hold on. Time the fuck out. Randy Weber, I will not allow you, as a Knick fan, knowing that zesty ass motherfucker you got Cat on your team, let you call another guy on the NBA zesty with that zesty motherfucker on your squad. I cannot allow you to insert that into your actual contents of evidence. No, sir.
No. I embrace our zesty king. I will defend him. I will defend him.
No, sir. What you're not going to do in my court of law is you are not going to have like conditional zestiness. All right.
No, I'm not. Look, I embrace that Cat is. I have no problem with the fact that Cat is.
No, fam. What you're doing right now is having like conditional zestiness parameters. You're only moving the parameters of the zestiness when, not a Knick. No, you zesty than the motherfucker, but
no, absolutely not. I openly embrace. I openly embrace Cat zestiness. I say, oh my God, to myself, to make myself laugh all the time. It's fine. Again, and we could say like, well, should that matter? Well, like, I mean, it's a predominantly straight male audience. They're that is gonna matter to them.
No, wait, hold on. Time out. Pause. Pause. Okay. I don't know how that got inserted into your thesis, but
have you seen his TikToks, bro? Like,
yes. Oh, hold on. It's a crazy thing. I think that's a whole NBA thing. Like, there's a lot of cats as. Okay, I think it's a generational thing. I just think we need to just be honest about
it. Can't just be a culture, man. He is Canadian, man.
No, but I'm just saying that like the NBA, just like the culture, is a generational thing right now. We're going through a transitional thing where you got old school and what they go by?
Gen Z.
Gen Zers.
The Gen Zers or the YNs? I don't know. That generation that is
the YNs is strictly for the thugs.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't say SGA is a YN. Yes, but
yeah, Ja's a YN.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know the rules. I just know what we did. So,
I think it's the Canadian, because Dylan Brooks is a little zesty too, man.
He is. It's true, but he's a villain though. And again, we could debate about the ethics of that being associated with villainy.
Is
But-
that really? Because I didn't see them do some real zesty stuff. Well, I'm like, I don't know if that's villain, bro. That's just
Well, he's a villain in general, right? He's Dylan the villain.
no. Like literally, if the NBA wanted to do like the Dave Chappelle Prince parody, like Dylan Brooks is that guy that you cast. Like you go cast him for that, like ASAP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can make everybody pancakes.
Bitches.
Wild.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that is a thing. This generation is like gradually the young generation is more, it's more common, it's more accepted, normalized, all of that. But the majority of the NBA audience is still older guys. It's not the younger guys that would be more normalized with. And I think that is also a thing. We're not really seeing the audience generation move to the same degree as the player generation, because players are obviously younger, like they're coming out of college generally.
Can I be honest with y'all?
Yeah.
Of all those people that Bobby named, I'm actually surprised that you didn't put Luka in there. Here's why. Because I think he appeals to a lot of different markets. Obviously, the international market, that's the best market that I think the NBA, in my opinion, financially should always cater their game to, because international money.
I can tell you why.
International money's on a different level. I'm just saying, when you get international money, is different.
Yeah, but no, I can tell you exactly why. The reason being, LeBron James. Anybody connected to LeBron James is disqualified from everything. They will never get their full credit or for anything that they do. So the minute we traded him to the Lakers, Luka was disqualified from being the best player in the NBA.
You can kind of flip it though, because he is the player that's going to get significantly more eyes on him as a result of being with LeBron.
Okay. But he will never. It will always be because Luka trimmed that. Oh, it's because he's influenced with LeBron. LeBron's got him working out. He's never going to get full credit for anything he does. As long as he's teammate with LeBron James.
Also, if you're going European, probably just makes more sense to go with Jokic. Jokic at least has a ring already and multiple MVPs. Luka has none of that yet.
But he's just, again, not exciting.
You don't think Jokic is exciting?
Basketball purists, you and I, he's great. But to the casual fan, the face of the league is more for the casual fan to draw them in.
They want a guy who does a bunch of like wild cool dunks like MJ did. That's why it was and.
Yep.
And well, and I was also looking at it this way. Of all those people that you did name, I think Wemby fits that mode.
And international audience right there.
International and just the freak of nature that he is.
Yeah. Say no disrespect. We love freaks.
Yes.
Yeah.
and one way that can mean so many different ways.
Yes.
I agree with you, bro. Yes.
And he's foreign and he's black. And I think that does actually help the case, because then you don't have the black audience feeling slighted that they're putting all this attention around like one of the few or comparatively less common white players, as opposed to all of them that were really putting the work in. They're not going to have that kind of resentment to Wemby, because he appeals to the international audience and the Black American audience.
Exactly.
He checks damn near every box for Cha-Ching. That's what I'm saying. That when you said that name, I'm like, that makes the most sense. If you're going to say, hey, this is our product, bam, here's our face. If you need something to get an idea on what our content is, look at this guy and look what he does. And
you can tell his influences. Like, Jokic is going to make a great pass. Wemby is going to try to throw that same pass behind his back.
Yes.
Jokic is going to block your shot and stop it from going in.
Wemby
is going to throw that motherfucker in the fourth row. Like he's going to do the same thing. He's just gonna it's gonna have flair to it.
Yes.
It's gonna have that make you want to see it again. And aside from the fact he can just do things other people can't do. I got to dunk on you from the middle of the lane without jumping.
He got to bulk up.
He does got to bulk up. I agree with that. Also, one thing that works in his favor, and it sounds dumb, but it's true. His last name is fun to say. I
Wimby.
don't. I think that is actually something that will work in his favor.
Hey,
For
look.
sure.
Hey, Wimby.
Benny Hannes. Victor, Benny Hannes.
Mhm.
Hey, Vic. Hey, come to KC. I got you. All right. Just give me just one of them one nice big ass checks, and I will put 20 pounds of good healthy fat on you, bro. Pause. And I will fatten you up. Pause. And I will just give me one of them nice.
You said one pause an hour.
I know. No, I just need to just clarify all of that, just because as I was saying it, and I was like, damn, that was questionable. So I was like, let's just hit parameters. All right. Look, fact of the matter is, Wimby, look, Mikasa is Sukasa. I let's say I just made some bomb ass pasoli for the first time. I'm gonna put a video together. I'm gonna show you.
Mm-hmm.
But dog, Wimby, I'll make sure you'll put the 20 pounds of muscle on. You make sure you go ahead, cut the check for me. I ain't even gonna like go crazy with the dollars amount. Just make sure that I got enough to put me and my peoples on. That's it. We trying to build something organically, and we don't want these big major networks jocking our style and stealing our money. So that's all I'm asking for, seed money.
Speaking of the putting on the muscle thing, you know what player would have been perfect if it had not been for all of the everything and like the injuries and all of that? Zion Williamson would have been perfect. Like imagine putting someone as jacked as him on posters who does the incredible dunks with the name Zion, right? Like marketability is all there. It's a shame that didn't work out.
You're right, but what year is it? It's 2025, right?
Mm-hmm.
When did Zion get drafted?
It was 18, 19?
2019, right?
Yeah, 2019.
Something like that.
Yeah. No, it's too late for him. It's just a shame that it is. You know, like
I'm still waiting.
Yeah, think about the way that like WWE picks like their top champions. Like if they were looking at all these players, they would look at Zion and be like, "That's him."
Oh, absolutely.
The crazy thing is, because the potential is still there, that people are still.
It's because now he's a redemption story.
Yeah.
People are willing
If
to
it works, then you even have a higher ceiling for potential there. But it's a lot to expect now. I know I'm not expecting that anymore. Now, if anything, it's less likely because the injuries have compounded onto each other.
Yeah, and I ain't even gonna talk about where he likes to that little situation with that little blockhead Mariah Mason.
But see, that's the thing. Like it, I don't want this to sound insensitive to the NBA. It's not going to matter because look what Zion did. I mean, not Zion. Look what Anthony Edwards did before playoffs last. The dude literally,
I'm
literally told a chick
what you said
to have a smortion.
Bobby
Getting hot, and they still tried to make him the face of the NBA.
Bobby, you're not wrong.
That's true.
What I'm saying is have y'all seen
man, look what he did this year.
No,
he
hold on.
Literally openly wrote a letter and said, "I'm going to be a deadbeat dad. I don't want shit to do with that kid. Go ahead about your life. Here's some money." And they are still trying to make him the face of the NBA.
I know, but Ant-Man is available. He's here. He's there. He plays through injuries.
Yeah, no, but I just mean from like the outside stuff. So
like the outside stuff, yeah. Because
if Zion can straighten him out,
right. Look, the allegations with Zion are, I'm not going to take a stance at this point or how much I believe them, don't believe them, whatever, right? Like, not all the evidence is out. There are serious allegations.
No, I'm not here for that because I don't know none of that information. I'm just talking about me personally, and I'm asking you, gentlemen, to use your two good eyes that God has gifted you and look at Mariah May and tell me that. Huh? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. Huh? Have y'all seen her? Nah, bro. I don't know if I can do that, bro.
I mean, hey, everybody has their
Nah, bro. No.
Flavor.
Mar's like, not that one.
Nah. Hey, have you seen her shape, bro?
I mean,
Oh,
Certainly shapely.
everybody has their flavor. You know what I mean?
Nah, bro.
Yeah. Bro, like we,
Come on, God didn't make that.
no, we didn't. It's
Buddha, Allah, whatever you believe, he ain't make that. I don't. You can pray to whoever. They ain't make that. That was some Johnson and Johnson type shit. I don't know what that was. Nah, bro.
I hope the allegations aren't true because this comes across a lot worse if they are.
Look, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just me personally. I'm just like I'm looking at just the culture that's kind of like crazy right now, and maybe this is personal for me. I got 3 daughters, and Bobby has a daughter, and I'm just kind of looking like. I'm just like, man, I just don't need my daughters wrapped up in this crazy ass culture that's coming that made that Johnson and Johnson situation. I just don't. I'm just like, the going on, and he just couldn't wait the raw dog, and I'm just like, huh? Oh,
sometimes when you get to a certain level of wealth and success,
well, you just don't give a fuck. Apparently,
you're just like, this is a thing I can say that I did. Because I can do anything. I'm Zion Williamson. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Shit, I just need enough money to that I could just be comfortable. I don't need that much money if you're gonna make people start acting crazy like this shit. I don't need all that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. Give me the amount of money that keep me just enough sanity in this motherfucker that I don't go blank off in this motherfucker. That's it.
Not everyone thinks that way, and then we see what happens when people don't think that way.
That's lost your motherfucking marbles type of money. What fucking going on right here, man? Knowing you from old backwoods of South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina. I know about Spartanburg, South Carolina. Don't do that, Zion. I mean, and knowing your peoples ain't raised you that go goofy like this shit. Don't. Okay. Anyway,
so basketball.
Anyway, I don't even know where the hell we at because I'm just over here just acting a fool. So, man, and this was fun. Always a pleasure. Taco Tuesdays to happen, and then when Bobby just wants to gloat that he was right, he always pop in.
I mean, I'm the tribal chief of the podcast world for a reason.
By the way, Randy, that's the guy that literally soon as zero, man, my phone. Brrr, I need Randy. Where is Randy?
I should have hid. I should have hid. Nobody made me come on this podcast.
No, I respect it though. I was the band.
Hey,
no. I'm playing. I'll hide from nothing, right? Like I am more mad about it than any non-Knicks fan can possibly be.
Big question. I mean, what do you think about the firing though?
So what we're talking about that before. What I think about it is, I think that a lot of teams are way too trigger happy to blow up everything when they are successful, but they just haven't broken through and gotten the chip. I criticized the Bucks doing it with Budenholzer. I criticized the Nuggets doing it with Malone. That being said, I am mostly in support of this in this particular case. I think that Thibs does have a ceiling. I think that he was basically the reason we didn't go further last year because so many of our players got injured because they were overworked. And we still took the Pacers to a game 7 with Brunson, Hart, Dante on our bench, but that's his whole thing. And I think that he's really late to make adjustments. I think that if you're going to fire your head coach to bring in a win now head coach, now is the time because Budenholzer and Malone are both available.
Who would you like to see?
So what I had said before is I think Budenholzer would be better as a defensive coach. Malone would be better as an offensive coach. I think that Malone has because of his experience with Jokic having an offense-first center, I think that he would probably know how to scheme Cat in a way that I think could work really well. So for that reason, I like that him and think that he's a fit. Budenholzer, as Mar was pointing out, there are similarities between our core and the core that he won the ring with. So I don't really have a strong preference either way. I could see benefits of both.
This how you split the pig.
Yeah. And I mean, what our main weakness
I got you
now is, I mean, our defensive rating was better than our offensive rating, so we probably do need more offensive help than defensive help. So I lean a little towards Malone, but I'd be very happy with either. And you're not going to find a situation where you're looking for a head coach and two that won a ring in the past 5 years are just sitting on the couch. So if you're going to do it, you do it now.
Hey, this is what you do. You give the head coach $10 million, give the assistant $8 million. Y'all can afford it. Y'all got all that man stolen money, dog. Hire both. I'm just talking. I'm just talking shit. I know that's
from the world's economic mecca. So damn right we got that money.
So, but no, man, this was always a great time, man. I'm gonna shut it down because I ain't gonna hold you fellas too long. I know y'all got lives to get back to, and I got some NCAA 25 I gotta get to. So,
important things,
yeah, important things. We usually try to keep it within an hour, but organically, because the conversation amongst the company is always so fantastic. Yeah, we did a little overtime, and it is what it is. So hopefully you all enjoyed it, and if that's the case, you make sure you like, share, subscribe, because every Tuesday it's me and Randy, and you never know when any time Bobby might pop up. So he said Pacers in 6. I'm
saying OKC in 5.
I'm gonna get my prediction tomorrow because I got to sleep on this shit. With that being said, y'all know where to find Randy Reber Panther on Acid. If you need some audio needs on Instagram, please hit Brody up. Of course, you know where to find Bobby G. All right, you can find him and myself every Thursday about 10 Eastern for a quick audio. And then on Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our typical Freaky Friday. Would be wild the hell out on Friday.
We gotta get Randy on one Friday, man.
Yeah, hey, and whenever you're available, Randy, or you know, hey, you just let me know, and we'll tap you in with Bobby, and he'll send you the link and all that good jazz. So
I will pull up.
Yeah, y'all know where to find. Y'all know where to find me. Go to Twitter. Hey man, this was real. This was fun. Hey man, we appreciate y'all. Until then, I should have a show tomorrow. I should. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't, unless I get too high and fall asleep. And always a possibility. Just saying, I keep it real around this motherfucker. So, love y'all, man. Bros, I appreciate y'all. Until next time, man. Y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, man. We out here, peace.
Yeah. Solid Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Como de lo cigar. Man, you don't wanna start.